Chapter 60, The Weight of Being Chosen, Part 5. Lyra left after a while. But for Alex, the night was long, very long. So long that if he truly tried, he felt he could count to the highest number his mind was capable of imagining, and still have time remaining. He stared at the ceiling, then turned to one side, then the other. Eventually, he stood and began pacing around the room. He walked toward the window, looked outside, then returned to his bed. But no matter what he did, one voice continued repeating inside his mind. Kaelyn's voice. Maybe senior sisters Seraphine and Naira chose the worst student they possibly could. Again, and again, and again, the words felt like a tight slap across his face. Not because Kaelyn had insulted him, but because Alex felt humiliated. Humiliated that someone could look at him, look at everything his masters had taught him, and reach that conclusion. Unable to sleep, Alex finally left his chamber. The palace was silent. Most people were still asleep. Alex walked alone toward the training ground, then quietly sat on one of the benches and stared into the darkness. The night continued passing. Alex's mind continued working. How could he catch Kaelyn? What trick could he use? What trap could he prepare? He didn't need to defeat her. He didn't even need to injure her. He simply needed to touch her. Once. Just once. Enough to prove something. Enough to prove that he wasn't a waste. That he wasn't the worst choice his masters could have made. Alex continued thinking. But every strategy eventually reached the same problem. Kaelyn's speed. How could he trap someone he couldn't even see? How could he predict someone whose movements disappeared from his senses completely? And worse, Alex remembered what Kaelyn had told him. She hadn't even pushed Blood Hunt beyond 15%. 15%. That was the difference between them. Even if Alex somehow created an opportunity, Kaelyn could simply increase her magical consumption. She could push Blood Hunt further, and everything Alex had planned would become useless. Alex lowered his head. For the first time, he truly understood how enormous the distance between them was. Time continued passing. Eventually, the hour of training arrived. Kaelyn walked toward Alex's chamber. She knocked. Silence. Kaelyn waited. Still nothing. She knocked again. No response. For several moments, Kaelyn simply stood there. Then her expression quietly changed. Perhaps Alex had rejected the training. Perhaps yesterday had been too much. A faint trace of disappointment appeared in her eyes. Without another word, Kaelyn turned and walked toward the training ground. But the moment she arrived, she stopped. Alex was already there, sitting on a bench. His elbows rested against his knees. His eyes stared straight ahead, completely lost in thought. Kaelyn approached silently, then sat beside him. Neither spoke. After several moments, Alex finally looked toward her, and that was when he noticed something strange. The back of Kaelyn's hand was covered in deep, abnormal marks. Thin wounds. Some fresh. Some beginning to heal. Alex wanted to ask about them, but he didn't. For some reason, he couldn't even look directly at Kaelyn's face. Instead, he simply greeted her. Senior Sister Kaelyn. Kaelyn glanced toward him. You woke up early today. Then she studied his expression. Were you making a plan? A small pause. Or perhaps setting a trap? Alex shook his head. No, Senior Sister Kaelyn. Even if I set a trap, I doubt it would work. He looked toward the training ground. I just couldn't sleep. So I came here. Kaelyn quietly nodded. Then stood. Then let's continue. Alex nodded. Kaelyn said nothing else. Her blood hunt activated. That alone was enough of a signal. Alex immediately moved. The chase began again. Kaelyn accelerated. Alex followed. Faster. And faster. His complete attention remained fixed on her. No smile. No smug expression. No confidence. Only concentration. Kaelyn noticed it. Deliberately, she slowed herself. The distance between them decreased. Alex came closer. Then closer. Until Kaelyn was almost within reach. She glanced behind her. Alex could have stretched out his hand. He could have tried to touch her. But he didn't. His expression didn't change. He simply continued following. Kaelyn understood immediately. Alex knew. He understood that she was deliberately slowing herself. He understood that touching her like this would prove absolutely nothing. A faint smile appeared on Kaelyn's face. Unknown to Alex, she accelerated and disappeared. Alex's eyes widened slightly. Then he understood. Stage 2. The rules had changed again. He was no longer chasing Kaelyn. Kaelyn was hunting him. Alex turned immediately and ran toward the deeper section of the training ground, toward the trees. Kaelyn followed. Alex moved between the trunks, changing directions, using the trees to obstruct her path. He was betting on one thing. Irina. Yesterday, Irina had specifically asked Kaelyn to stop breaking her trees. Alex remembered it. And now, he was gambling on Kaelyn, trying to avoid damaging them. The first attack came. Alex barely avoided it. The second struck him. The third struck him as well. The fourth sent him rolling across the ground. But eventually, Alex avoided another. Then another. His strategy wasn't impressive. Out of every 10 attacks, perhaps he successfully avoided one. But it was working. Barely. Kaelyn immediately understood what Alex was doing. Yet something else caught her attention. Alex didn't look proud. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't celebrating his small success. He looked like someone desperately trying everything he could think of. Anything that might work. Kaelyn felt strangely proud. Then, she decided to push him further. A powerful kick sent Alex high into the air. Kaelyn looked upward. Do you truly believe a simple plan like this will keep you safe? You think I won't attack because I want to avoid the trees? Alex twisted through the air. His voice came out hurried and exhausted. I'm trying what I can. There is literally nothing else saving me right now. For a moment, Kaelyn stared. Then she smiled. A genuine smile. The training continued. And so did Alex's suffering. By the time it finally ended, Alex lay flat on the ground. His chest rose and fell violently. His breathing was heavy. His entire body hurt. But strangely, Alex felt good. Yesterday, he had spent the entire training trying to calculate everything. Trying to create plans. Trying to prove that he was intelligent. Trying to prove that he was special. Today, he had simply trained. He had tried. Failed. Tried something else. Failed again. Then continued. For once, Alex didn't feel like someone trying to outsmart the person teaching him. He felt like a student. A student training beneath a warrior far more skilled than himself. Footsteps approached. Alex opened his eyes. Kaelyn walked toward him. Then, to Alex's surprise, she sat beside him. Kaelyn crossed her legs. Sit. Alex blinked, then quickly forced himself upright. Kaelyn closed her eyes. Follow me. Alex immediately copied her posture. Slow your breathing. Alex inhaled, then exhaled. Again. He followed. Now concentrate. Feel the flow of your blood. Feel the oxygen entering your body. Feel what you exchange with the world around you. Alex continued breathing. Slowly, the training ground disappeared from his awareness. Kaelyn opened one eye. She watched him carefully. Alex had already entered deep concentration. Fast. Far too fast. Orlin had been right. Alex learned quickly. He adapted quickly. Kaelyn waited for several moments. Then asked, Can you see it? Alex opened his eyes. See what? Kaelyn frowned slightly. Alex continued. I can see many things. My blood, my veins, something shining, my constitution, and many other things. Alex rubbed his forehead. But I don't know what I'm supposed to look at. Everything is a mess. Kaelyn stared at him. For a moment, she seemed genuinely amused. Then she raised one hand and bit the tip of her finger. A small drop of blood appeared. Before Alex could ask anything, Kaelyn placed the bleeding fingertip into his mouth. Alex froze. Focus. Kaelyn spoke calmly. Focus on my blood. Trace it. Watch where it flows. Alex tried. He genuinely tried. But his concentration had completely disappeared. Because one extremely unnecessary thought had entered his mind. That finger had just touched Kaelyn's lips. Her mouth. And now, Alex immediately tried to destroy the thought. Kaelyn stared at him in confusion. Why aren't you concentrating? Alex said nothing. Kaelyn looked at her finger. Perhaps there wasn't enough blood. Without hesitation, she bit her fingertips slightly harder. Alex watched. Then Kaelyn placed the same finger back into his mouth. The finger that had just been there moments earlier. Alex's brain nearly betrayed him again. But this time, he understood something. Kaelyn wasn't thinking about any of that. She was training him. That was all. Alex forcefully pushed every useless thought away. Then concentrated. Kaelyn's blood entered his body. Alex followed it. He traced its movement. Watched it flow. Watched it mix with his own blood. And then, he saw something. Some of the blood was different. Thicker. Darker. A deeper shade of red. And its structure resembled a spider's web. The strange blood slowly spread, touching Alex's normal blood, changing it. Not immediately. Not completely. But gradually. Alex opened his eyes. I don't understand, Senior Sister Kaelyn. Kaelyn lowered her hand. What we possess isn't normal blood. Alex remained silent. Kaelyn continued. This is the work of blood hunt. She paused. Or more accurately, blood arts. Alex listened carefully. Blood arts are unique abilities. They are most commonly awakened by monsters and beasts. Humans receiving one is rare. Extremely rare. Kaelyn looked directly at Alex. You and I are among those rare humans. Alex's expression became serious. Kaelyn continued. At a low level, blood hunt improves the efficiency of your abilities. It reduces magical consumption. It assists regeneration. But when pushed further, it begins enhancing the body. Physical strength, mental processing, senses, instinct. Kaelyn's golden red eyes narrowed slightly. In simple words, it brings us closer to monsters and beasts. Alex frowned. Kaelyn immediately continued. Not in nature, not in mind, but through ability, through skill. Alex slowly nodded. Then Kaelyn added, but blood hunt doesn't develop identically in everyone. Sometimes, it changes according to the person. For example, you can connect with blood and glimpse the past linked to it. Alex immediately looked toward her. What can you do? Kaelyn answered before he had even completely finished the question. I won't tell you. Alex stared. Kaelyn stood. Go rest. Clean yourself. You need to reach Master's training session on time. She looked down at him. Master hates undisciplined students. And you definitely don't want to make her snap. Alex immediately stood. He respectfully greeted Kaelyn, then left. Kaelyn watched him disappear. Silence returned to the training ground. Then, slowly, Kaelyn's face turned red. She looked away. There was one thing she hadn't told Alex. Her blood hunt ability. When Kaelyn connected her blood with another person, she could sometimes glimpse 5 to 10 minutes ahead. And occasionally, she could sense fragments of what the other person was thinking. Which meant, Kaelyn knew. She knew exactly why Alex had been staring at her lips. And she knew exactly what that idiot had been thinking when her finger entered his mouth. Kaelyn covered part of her face with one hand. For once, the emotionless Rainbow looked genuinely embarrassed. Later that evening, Alex entered Orlan's chamber. As before, Orlan asked him to sit, to breathe, to concentrate. Alex obeyed. He closed his eyes and attempted to sink deeper within himself. Then, just like yesterday, Orlan summoned Kaelyn. Alex heard her arrive, but he didn't move. Orlan asked for the report. This time, Kaelyn didn't complain. She explained where Alex lacked skill, where he had failed, where he had tried, where he had adapted. She didn't sound disappointed. And most importantly, she never mentioned Seraphine or Naira. Then Kaelyn left. Orlan looked toward Alex. She knew he had heard everything. But unlike yesterday, Alex showed no reaction, no clenched fist, no anger, no visible frustration. His face remained completely still, as though he were genuinely trying his hardest not to listen. Orlan watched him for several moments, then called his name. Alex. Alex stopped concentrating. His eyes opened. Orlan remained silent for a moment. Perhaps she had decided to be brutal again. I was told you learn quickly, that you adapt faster than most. Alex remained silent. Orlan continued. So perhaps asking you normally was my mistake. Alex's eyes narrowed slightly. I'll have to find another way to make you focus. Because we don't have many days remaining before your tournament begins again. Alex fully opened his eyes. But Orlan had already turned away. Her back faced him. She stared through the window. Then she spoke. You may leave. Alex slowly stood. He greeted Orlan, then left. The small feeling he had carried from his morning training, the feeling that perhaps today had been a good day, shattered completely. Again. Later, Alex lay on his bed, staring upward, trying to concentrate, trying to understand. What was Orlan asking him to find? How deeply was he supposed to concentrate? What exactly was he missing? Then, the chamber door opened. Alyra entered, and the moment Alex saw her expression, he knew something had happened. She looked like a detective who had finally solved the case. Alyra walked directly toward Alex, sat on the bed, then grabbed his arm, forcing his attention toward her. Alex, I found out what is happening. Alex stared at her. Alyra continued. What you told me yesterday contradicted what I believed. So I spoke with Azurella. And now, I know the truth. Alex slowly sat upright. Alyra looked directly into his eyes. It's you. Alex blinked. Alyra continued before he could misunderstand. The reason they're treating you like this is you. Orlin thinks you're too confident. She believes your confidence has started becoming pride, and she believes that pride will eventually slow your growth. Alex remained silent. So Orlin asked Kaelyn to break it, to shatter that pride before it becomes something worse. Alex's expression slowly changed. Then Lyra spoke again. And there is something else. After yesterday's training, Kaelyn hurt herself. Alex froze. Lyra continued. She struck the back of her own hand with a sharp bamboo stick. Again and again. Because she felt guilty. She hated the way she treated you. But she still believed she had to do it. Alex's mind immediately returned to the morning. Kaelyn's hand. The abnormal marks. The thin wounds. Now, he understood. The silence. The harsh words. The humiliation. The constant pressure. None of them believed Alex was worthless. That had never been the problem. The problem was Alex himself. Alex couldn't deny the truth. He had been given extraordinary opportunities, an extraordinary constitution, rare abilities, powerful masters, people willing to protect him, people willing to teach him. And somewhere along the way, Alex had slowly started confusing those extraordinary opportunities with being extraordinary himself. For a long time, Alex said nothing, because finally, he understood. He wasn't extraordinary. Not yet. He was blessed. And perhaps, the weight of being chosen was learning the difference. So, you have listened to Chapter 60, Part 5 of The Broken Realm. Alex has finally realized that being chosen doesn't make someone extraordinary. Only their actions do. But with the tournament approaching and Orlin's training becoming even more intense, his greatest challenge is still ahead. If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for the next part of The Broken Realm. Until next time.